Forgery of fingerprint. What is forgery of fingerprints? Forgery means counterfeiting or falsifying of documents, etc. And forgery of fingerprint can be defined as fraudulent imitation of fingerprint or prints to baffle detection or to deceive investigation. Forged and fabricated fingerprint. Forged fingerprint. Fingerprint forgery consists of a person planting the fingerprint of a different person instead of himself or herself on a surface in an attempt to mislead the police or another party. Fabricated fingerprint. A fabricated fingerprint is a representation of a print that never existed on the surface from which it is alleged to have come from. Generally speaking, it is fabrication of evidence by law enforcers to bolster a case or, in some instances, to frame an innocent person. While in forgery, the fingerprint actually does not exist on a particular surface, but was left by someone else. How are two types different in practical terms? Forged. Fingerprints of B is found at the scene of crime. But the crime was committed by A, the actual offender, who leaves no prints. B is an accomplice with no database with the police or bureau to match with. A might also force domestic help or other inmate C to leave a finger impression. Fabricated. Neither A nor B's fingerprints are found at the SOC or PO. Prints are developed at some other place and produced as evidence in the court of law. Only a trained expert or individual can perform fabrication of fingerprints. Types of fabricated latent print evidence. There are three common methods which may be used by the dishonest law enforcement employees to fabricate latent print evidence. Lift from an inked or known print, a staged photograph, mislabeled fingerprint. Lift from an inked fingerprint. Fabrication. Fingerprints lifted from inked or known fingerprints and represented as having come from actual SOC. These are usually fully rolled or proper plain prints, a phenomenon virtually impossible in real latent print work. Lifts from inked prints usually include fibers and microscopic marks. Latent fingerprints fabrications by police have been detected and reported since the 1920s. A staged photograph fabrication. A staged photograph in which fingerprints appear on surface where they do not actually exist. These photographs are usually taken slightly out of focus in attempt to hide details which would disclose the fabrication. Such a photograph may be over or underexposed. We can see a staged photograph which is fabricated. Now, mislabeled fingerprint lift fabrication. Mislabeled fingerprint lifts in which the fingerprints are lifted from different surfaces than those claimed by the police. The most reliable method for detection of mislabeled fingerprint lift is by close inspection of background noise, and frequently the fabricator fails to take this into account. A mislabeled latent may also reflect an orientation inconsistent with normal handling. Techniques used for forging finger impressions. In fingerprint forgery, a fingerprint actually does not exist at the scene of crime, on a piece of evidence, or on some other surface. The person whose fingerprint it represents never actually touched the surface on which the fingerprint exists. There are three known methods by which fingerprints may be forged: mold or cast method, photo engraving method, direct transfer method. Mold or cast method of forgery. Mold or cast method. A three-dimensional mold is made from fingertip of the person whose fingerprint is to be forged. A cast is then made from the mold using a